Automation is the key to making sure that our behavior is not the impediment to the wealth building process. And there's a number of things that you can put in place to make sure that even when you're not paying attention to what's going on with your money, there's something going on in the background where that if a problem arises, you can be notified and address it when it has your pressing attention. Using automation to your benefit could be something as simple as setting up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings account. But rather than having some huge goal, maybe attacking something smaller. Maybe it's a meal that I grab at a certain to-go place every single Friday, when if I just substitute that one meal, it might save me $50 a month when I look at how many times I go on a monthly basis. And by diverting and reallocating that money to my savings account, I can pat myself on the back and say that at the end of this year, I will have saved $500 or $600 that I wouldn't have saved prior to identifying that expense. But there are all types of other services, like identifying all of your automated subscriptions, which we'll talk about after the break, and trying to find ways to reallocate the mess and the miscellaneous things in your budget that can help you build wealth. Using services like mint.com, like You Need a Budget, like insert automated tracking software here can make sure that whenever you meet that limit of what you set for yourself, you get an email or a text message that can serve as that corrective behavior that lets you know what's going on without you having to have the discipline of sitting down on a monthly basis to find out that you overspent. We're trying to build in systems that will alert us to when we're acting counter to our financial goals. Another thing that I tell people to avoid is also making sure you're not setting goals that treat an element of your finances as if it operates in a vacuum. Everything that you do in one area of your finances impacts other areas as well. And when it comes to New Year's resolutions, you can be very motivated at the beginning of the year to do something like tackle debt, to do something like increase your savings, to do something like increase the amount you save for retirement. And because that's the thing that's pressing on your mind, you set a very high goal for yourself that does not consider the other things going on in your finances. You might be really motivated about increasing your cash cushion this year. And last year, it could have been highly possible for you to save $250 every 2 weeks. And you say, every 2 weeks, I'm going to have $250 taken out of my check and go straight to my savings. I'm not even going to touch it. But because you're not thinking about this part of your finance affecting the other parts of your finances, you could have neglected to realize that your child's going to a new school or has a new tutor or a new after-school program that made that $500 not as realistic this year as it would have been last year. And when setting financial goals for the new year, you need to make sure that even if your goal addresses a particular element of your finances, you've looked at what else is going on to determine whether that's actually realistic. And lastly, something that could make it easier for you to reach your financial goals as opposed to making it more difficult to do so is getting some momentum moving downhill. You want to start January 1 with a financial goal that has the easiest thing to do at the start of the year, as opposed to having to take the biggest bite of the elephant on January 1. Akin to the types of things that you see in Atomic Habits, where it tries to get you to identify a small behavior that you can change and do every single day. But when you have something small, something tangible that you can do over and over again, eventually becomes a part of your character, and it allows you the discipline to attack those things later on in your finances that realistically you may not be positioned to attack on January 1.